Alright, jumping right into this project, we are going to start by breaking down our plywood. Again, if you've seen in my other videos in the past, I use pre-finished one side for my cabinets to get that pre-finished inside. We're cutting some dado stacks in here where the bottom panel is going to sit in these cabinets. Great way to do cabinets so you know that you're going to have nice even cabinets the entire time and just a little bit sturdy. You know, it's more of a professional way to make these cabinets. Run them through, make sure that they're all at the same height. Change that dado stack out from 3/4 inch to 1/4 inch, and we're going to run these for the back panel that can slide in. You see there's about 1 inch on the other side that our nailers will go to, and so we'll screw those in. See right here, I like to get them set in with some glue and some nails, and I'll come back in later and add those screws. That way I can kind of get the piece exactly how I want it. The nails hold it in place, the glue gets it set up, and the screws come in later just for a little additional support. Slide those bottom panels in, add some glue there, making sure that I'm shooting directly through that by scribing a line right there. Next, we're going to break down this white oak S3S lumber. We got a mantle, some countertops, and we're also doing some floating shelves. So there's a lot of white oak involved in this project. Ripping it all down to manageable sizes. S3S, of course, means that there are 3 smooth sides. So we have to get rid of that rough side. You use the fence on the clean side and just rip it down to the appropriate width. Then we're going to plane everything, get some clean faces on both of them. Only takes a couple times through because they are S3S, but you definitely want to get a fresh face on them by running them through the planer just to clean it up a little bit. White oak is a great lumber to work with. I enjoy using it because if we want to stain it, you can get it to stain just about any color, and it also looks good just with the clear coat, and it's nice and sturdy at a reasonable price. Got some miters in the front face of this mantle. Use the old glue tape trick to just kind of get those to fold over just nice and neat with some glue. A couple pin nails if needed. Off camera I cut the tops and bottom of that mantle and got that attached. I glued up our countertops. You can see right here they're both going to be about 5 feet, so I'm cutting them down to the relatively correct size. I did leave them a little long so I could cut them exact on site. Now I'm ripping down some white oak plywood, 1/2 inch, trying to batch cut here. That allows me to make sure that they're all about the same size. Not super important on the exact measurement there because, like I said, I'm cutting these down on site to the final measurement. But we're going to rip them down to about 12 inches. These are going to be the top and bottom of our floating shelves. We run that through, and then I'm coming back through with a little bit of a bevel. That bevel is going to allow a better connection, especially on the top face, the face that's showing on our floating. You'll see I've left that little bit of a gap there. That's to ensure that we get a tight fit up top, and then the glue can also sit in that area right there. That's just a little, about 5-degree bevel. You put that on the front so the top will be nice and tight. There's plenty of room for the glue to get in there, and then drop it on the floor. Alright, so we got these floating shelves here that we're going to put together. These are going to be stained grade white oak. We've got the white oak plywood, 1/2 inch, and we've got the 1x white oak for the face. What we're going to do, put our glue in this little rabbet that we cut out. It's going to be just slightly more than the thickness of the plywood. Beveled the edge on the front part so that our seam will be nice and tight here. That allows any extra material that may have been left there, or just the glue, has some space to be, and we get a nice tight seam all the way across the front. So, what we're going to do for the first part, we're going to add our glue enough Make sure you have your coverage, but we don't want a crazy amount of squeeze out. Okay. Extra, we'll put in there. For the bottom piece, we're going to get that lined up. You see I've got a little extra down there, that's on purpose. We're going to trim this up on the table saw once it's all dried up. Pin nail this in. Let's make sure that I do just a slight angle away from the front. The last thing you want is the pin nail to make a 90-degree turn and shoot out your plywood. So just a little bit of an angle the other way. These pin nails, nice and small, 23 gauge. Those will be easy. Put a little bit of glue and filler in, and we're all disappeared. Next thing we're going to do, I cut some spacers the same thickness as this piece right here, which in this case is 1 inch. And so we're going to glue those, shoot those nails in, and that'll give us a little bit more rigidity, keep these shelves nice and sturdy. It's important to leave space on the sides here, because the way we're going to mount them is by adding more spacers that are attached to the cabinet piece, and then a spacer in the back that's screwed into the wall. That way these things are nice and solid, right? So it's very important that you leave that space. Add a piece on the front here. The reason for that is because I've got 6 of these shelves that I'm going to do, and I've only got so many clamps, because you can see it's still got the table and some clamps. I just took the doors out of clamps, so because I don't have enough, I need to make sure there's good clamping pressure across the entire piece. This board putting it in this direction, and the clamps pull it on that way and give good pressure all the way across. So take the glue, across there, and across the face here. Board here, and these I left them long, and make sure I got the beveled edge here. Put that nice side on the front. Okay, get this side pretty flush. We're not going to stress about it. Gotta get this piece right here. Middle of your shelf. Don't over tighten, right? Make sure you don't over tighten, or else you're going to get some bending. No. Contact there. Take that lip off later with the router. Okay, that. Just hand tight. Keep the edge there, got our spacing. Nice right there. That's the assembly on some white oak floating shelves. Now I've got 5 more. These shelves I actually ended up using on the following project, this was for an office build-in, which you'll see a video on that soon. But it's the same technique. I just didn't get good video of the ones for this fireplace project. Once they're all out of the clamps and dry, I'm going to run them through, get a straight edge on the back. Using my fence, I can get it to the appropriate depth. Get all 6 shelves through there. Ironically, I had 6 shelves for both the fireplace and the office project that I was telling you about. So it all is actually going to be the same footage. Then I'm going to cut it to rough size. I cut the final size for this fireplace project on site because I was building that fireplace out. We were going in between a wall, so I wanted to make sure I had an exact number when I was there. But it's basically the same thing. Nice and slow with the miter saw to avoid some tear out. Alright. So since I don't film in my customers' homes while I'm doing the project, I'm going to show you how I did the corners on the chevron shiplap fireplace so that it looks like the shiplap just wraps around. What we're doing here is we're not only cutting it at a 45-degree angle on the bevel, which is where you turn it on the side, but also the miter is at 45 degrees. So we're cutting 45 degrees and 45 degrees so that we get that 45-degree angle coming down this way so it can turn back up on the side of the fireplace. And we also got a 45-degree miter so that all the edges line up appropriately. So what it's going to look like. You can see there that compound bevel. So we are at a 45-degree miter and a 45-degree bevel. And that's going to give us a nice cut right there to allow this chevron style shiplap to turn the corner, make a 90-degree turn, and then a 45-degree directional turn north. You can see a sample of it right there. Alright, so that's going to start pushing it forward. The other thing that I did was on the point in the middle of the fireplace where all the connections happen. I took my biscuit joiner and put some biscuit slots in there. What I did, so I didn't have to measure and mark on this already pre-painted shiplap, I put one solid piece in just where it's at, and then you can see me moving it just a little bit so that there's a little bit of flex if I need to slide it up or down. But I get that biscuit in the side where I did the single cut, the single pass, and then it'll fit right in wherever it needs to on that other piece. And it just made moving through this project much quicker and easier versus trying to sit there and measure each single time. That connection right there, that allows me to, if I have to wiggle it up or down just a tad, it's no problem. You can see a progress shot right here. Pretty good connection all around, and there before I added the shelves, and there's those shelves with the lights in them. The lighting is a nice little touch, adds a little pop to that. Hope you like this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching.